Westcast.
Now fix to start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares on the best part of my day. The goods from the wood.
Hot damn.
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. I'm Rivers Langley.
Mr. Goodnight, man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour, too sexy to possibly be believed.
I'm Kyle Clark, replacing Pat Riley, who is on assignment.
Yeah, in Radioland.
Yeah. Hey, everybody in Radio Land.
Even taller than Pat.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
to say, people, most people, they cannot, see the pictures because it's on the radio or whatever. And people don't realize Pat is actually very tall.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
But we actually found
Huge
somebody
man.
taller.
Well, I figure I have
Kyle.
to even out to be taller, but he has 4 degrees and I only have 2, so it sort of balances out.
Yeah, it all comes out in
Yeah,
the wash
so
of LA stand-up comedy.
I make up for it in fighting ability when I lose in education.
Okay. And our guest today?
Comedy's Matt Pharr.
Yeah. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Matt is a friend of mine from Atlanta, Georgia, who lives out here. Got himself a place in Chinatown, apparently.
Ooh.
I did, and I got it using 99% Chinese, a language I don't know.
Fuck yeah.
Well done.
That's global.
Cantonese
Making
or Mandarin?
globalism work for you.
Yeah.
That's what it is, really.
Today, a subject we've talked about a little bit before, but I want to go
I'm so excited
much
to be
more
here
in
for
depth
this.
about tourist traps.
Oh, I love it.
And I've been from Tucson to Tucumcari, to Hatshepsut to Tonopah.
Has everybody here done a cross-country trip?
I've done many.
I have not done a full cross country, but I've been to 38 of 50 states and counting.
That counts. That totally counts.
That's a lot of fucking states.
Yeah.
It's always a lot of fun. For me, I'm the biggest sucker.
The crappier the spot, the better they are.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, the more shady and, homemade they are, the happier I am that it still exists.
Yeah.
Me too.
It's one thing the internet has not destroyed or ruined. Because they don't have it there.
What's your favorite? I mean, why even fuck around? What's your favorite?
My
of
favorite?
these
Wall
traps?
Drug, South Dakota.
Oh, Wall Drug.
Wall Drug.
I have to admit, I was
is-
severely disappointed
Really?
by that one.
I see.
Yeah.
I think I went into it.
What is this?
Wall Drug
Wall
is in
Drug.
South Dakota. It was founded in the 30s as one of the early tourist traps for people leaving towards California during the Depression, and it advertised that it had free ice water as you're driving
and
your
a donut.
jalopy.
If you're in the
They-
service or if you just
Yes.
get married, they give you a free donut. And it's
And-
not even that good a donut.
And now it's this just massive hodgepodge mess
for your
of a
service.
complex. The best Western shirt I've ever bought, though, I bought there. Like,
Really?
it was just full
yeah, but you know
embroidery.
what? Yeah, because they have them stores all around it that sell T-shirts with Indians and wolves and
Yep.
shit on
But
them.
they also have giant stone jackalopes and a big robot dinosaur
They
for
did
no
have
reason.
a robot dinosaur.
Stone
Actually,
jackalopes.
My favorite was actually the dummy of Custer that
that's
was
a good
in there.
one.
Because remember they had a bunch of Western figures. I think they was all at a
Yeah, it's-
poker table or some
Yep.
shit. And Custer was
Because it's
up in
close enough to Deadwood that they try to convince you to take a photo here and then you don't have to
there.
go
Yeah,
to
it
Deadwood.
looks like kind of a Western themed steakhouse, but
Yeah.
instead of a restaurant, it just has a robot dinosaur hidden in the back.
Yeah. When you can get Salisbury steak there in their cafeteria.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, why would you want to? That
Because I
sounds
had
terrible. Ooh, God, I mean, you could just tell me you're married. And, Pat, if you're listening, go to Wall Drug because you could get you
That's
a
where he
donut.
goes on his honeymoon.
Yeah, that's probably where he's going or something. You could have just had the donut. Tell him you're married, or tell him you got out of the Coast Guard or whatever, and get you the donut.
His new bride would murder him.
Oh, yeah. Although, if she's down, that's a keeper.
yeah, oh, totally.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
she's down for jackalope photos, that's a marriage that's going to last 1,000 years.
I think if you're married Pat Riley, you got to be down for jackalope photos.
you got to be down for the jackalope photos.
They're real animals.
The impressions of a Pat Riley is Jesse Ventura, but cynical.
Oh, God, and I know he's listening. It makes me so happy. Oh, God. I just recently came into contact with a hitherto unknown, to me anyway, tourist trap that was beyond intriguing. So we went up to Fresno with 4 other comedians packed into a Honda Civic.
Ooh,
It was very
living the
uncomfortable, and it was me, Reza Asghari, past guest on the show, Travis Clark, past guest on the show, Ryan Talmo, and Nick Thomas, future guest on the show.
If they survive, they'll be the hero.
If they survive. So we're all packed in this thing, and we're driving, and we left LA really early, and I just didn't ask questions. I didn't have anything else to do that day. I was like, why are we leaving? It's only 3 hours to Fresno. Why are we leaving at 2 in the afternoon. And then as soon as I met up with everybody, Rez was like, oh, yeah, we're stopping at this tourist trap called Bravo Farms. And there's mini golf. And there's a 7-story tree house.
Awesome.
Just like, fuck yeah. So it's on the 5. Like,
Wait,
just
does that
going
mean
up
the
to
tree house is 7 stories up, or it's like a foot off the ground and it's 7 stories?
It's about 6 feet off the ground, and then
Okay.
7 tiny little staircases going up. It's
Oh, that's
it's very well. It's a tourist trap.
Is that all there is, though? Just mini golf in this treehouse? Berenstain Bears condominium or whatever the fuck it is?
Even in the subset of mini golf, like tourist traps, I feel like I have this place beat.
Yeah, well, it's the mini golf is okay, but the real selling point is the shooting gallery.
Okay.
Where you get pellet guns, and this is how they get people to do the shooting gallery. They have Mater, the tow truck from Cars, in the shooting gallery, and he just kind of like wiggles around. He's like, "Hey y'all, what's going on?" And like makes noise. And then when you walk by him, he squirts you with too much water, frankly.
Wait a second, he's a truck.
He's a truck, but
So
when
he's
you
just-
walk
they
by
got a
him,
truck
he
just going around squirting people
I mean,
or
it's
something?
like I guess it's too much water. Like like a little tiny squirt would be one thing. This is like, oh fuck you, truck, you're going down. Like, it becomes, and that's how they get you.
Or can you smash out his windows and shit?
No, it's like pellet guns. Like eventually somebody's gonna come in there with the damn
It's not even
30-06.
BB guns?
No, they're just little like air rifle, like airsoft guns, and you're just shooting at little
You're
targets.
talking spring or gas?
Probably spring, considering how shitty this place is. But yeah, and I'm just thinking like you're gonna squirt the wrong guy who's gonna go crazy and come back in.
That's me. I'm the wrong guy.
yeah,
I have a 40 cal Glock.
yeah, and. This won't be funny to anybody who's not in Los Angeles comedy, but I'm going to say it anyway. You know who got squirt?
Ryan Talma?
Ryan fucking Talmo.
Yeah.
It's great.
Another chapter in the universe's "Fuck You, Ryan Talmo" book.
It was great. Yeah, so you walk around this place. There's the mini golf. There's the 7-story. There's the shooting gallery. But the thing is, they have a little tiny arcade that they haven't changed any of the games since like 1998. So it's like Cruisin' USA
Sweet.
and Mortal Kombat 2, like
Yeah,
all the good
good
games.
one.
Yeah, it's great. It's like a little time capsule.
We got some Simpsons in there.
No, I don't think
No,
so.
that's earlier. That's like
they-
1990. They have that at Redondo Beach, though.
Yeah,
I was at a shitty mall in Burbank, and they had it yesterday.
No shit.
they have the Simpsons game.
That's my if I make money one day thing I buy.
A Simpsons
arcade game.
arcade
Oh,
game?
man. I want to get one of WWF ones.
That's a good one, too.
And Cheyenne, my personal favorite.
Oh, with the orange guns.
Yeah, with the gun.
Yeah.
That's my personal favorite video game in the arcade of all time, Cheyenne.
I'm a Galaga man myself.
Yeah, well done.
Galaga?
Appreciate the classics.
Yep.
Yeah.
And some of them don't have the rapid fire thing, but you never know until you've
yeah,
already
yeah.
put your money in.
Yeah.
And you can kind of tell which ones don't have it by how many like handprints there are on the screen, or fist prints, I should say. And you're like, nope, not doing that one.
It wasn't me, but a friend of mine was drunk at my house, and I had to make a phone call to my dad, like, "Hey," because he's a house painter. I was like, "Hey, how do you fix a hole in the wall?" He's like, "Oh, how big's the hole?" I'm like, "Fist size." Like, get a patch, son. Get a patch.
Was it Ryan Talmo?
It was not Ryan Talmo. It was at Blick Nation on Twitter. There we go.
So this place, you say it's got mini golf. It sounds like an all right arcade.
It's got an all right arcade. It's got mini golf. It's
What's
got
it-
the
what's in
shooting
the treehouse?
gallery.
What's in the treehouse?
Just like a monkey in a box.
All right, so there's nothing in there.
There's nothing in there.
It's not worth the climb.
It's kind of, it was kind of fun. But they had an ice cream shop there. They had a bar there, and it was the kind of bar
I
like
feel like what you've perfectly done is
you know
list out key elements for any tourist trap.
I don't know. This sounds like if you went to it just on the fuck of it, like high or something, you could probably have a pretty good time.
No,
Yeah.
we had we had a great time. And then they also had their whole thing is it's in the middle of Ass Valley, which is
Valley.
the drive on the 5 in between Los Angeles and Fresno, where it's all dairy farms. And
Oh, it just smells like
oh
ass.
God, it smells. You have to know when Ass Valley is coming up, and you have to put your air conditioning on recirculating air before you hit Ass Valley. Otherwise, it's going to be miserable for like 20
Feel
minutes.
better than the AAA rivers.
But we get to this
A lot
place,
of
and it's
driving tips
it's
here,
smack
man.
dab in the middle of Ass Valley. And so you get out, and you're just like, oh, God, just like fart wind
It
blowing.
just smells like shit the whole time.
It smells like shit.
I ended up there on my way to Cunt Junction.
Rivers is making a mental note to find a song called Cunt Junction in his backlog of country music.
Yeah.
There's a drunk Hank Williams bootleg somewhere.
There it is. Praise the Lord.
Stop.
Don't know
Out-of-tune
how to
resonator.
function. Got my jalopy heading to Cunt Junction.
Take the highway to Titty City.
They're-
Take a stop it.
That's up north.
you got to take the low road to Cunt Junction. You can't take. There is no high
Like
road.
the high
to
road
Cunt
to Titty
Junction.
City.
Yeah, high road to Titty City, low road to Cunt Junction.
That new connector up there to Titty City's fancy.
It cuts 10 minutes off the whole damn thing. It's
Uh-huh.
fantastic.
There's like a big, broad shoulder you can pull off. They got a place to pee. It's nice. Jesus.
Fuck, I lost the air of my brain a moment ago.
I took a vacation to Taint Archipelago, and no.
Oh, Jesus.
It's a connector road there, the taint.
It's a short bridge, but it's worth it.
The locals call it the Grundle.
Grundle Causeway.
I had to settle for El Camino hand job. It tells you you're halfway there, but you're not going to finish the drive. You don't want to see the mission that bad.
The real selling point of this place, though, is the bar. Because it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. And the bar, there are zero tourists. There are only angry locals who hate the tourists. And you can tell.
I think they're in the tourist trap in their
There's-
area. Like, goddamn tourists. Coming into the only thing that brings income to our pseudo town.
But it's the only thing there. So they have no other option. It's either
poop moonshine to drink.
you just do butt hash.
Yeah.
Butt hash and meth. This is that kind of town.
It is Ass Valley.
It is Ass Valley. They have the finest butt hash in the land in Ass Valley.
We call it fash.
Range butthead.
Free range butt hash. Yeah, organic, free range.
Organic, gluten-free.
Gluten-free. Oh, God. But yeah, it's just locals because there's nowhere else to go. So they're all just sitting there and they're making fun of us as we're getting the putt. As we're getting the putters, they're just sitting there like, yo, you go play that mini golf game? We're like, yeah. And we're all just walking around laughing, just riffing, of course, and being a bunch of fucking asshole
No,
comedians.
we're looking to invest in your city's infrastructure.
Right.
One word, boys. Ethanol. It's going to change this place.
1/3 of your city's economy is wrapped up in this mini golf course
We're going to put a stadium here.
for mini golf.
What if I were to tell you I own the San Antonio Spurs? Would you laugh at me then, putt-putt boy?
You could tell me you own the Clippers.
They'd love you then. Got a bunch of Clippers fans in Ass Valley as of right now.
Clipple. I believe it's pronounced Clipple.
But yeah, so I like the locals. But yeah, of course, we were walking around and they sold cheese because that's what they're known for, and hence the ass smell. And so we're just walking around. They have like Chipotle cheese, and we're just walking around like Totes Chipotle and laughing about it. And these guys are just like, "Fuck these assholes."
It is a noble art.
Yeah,
But they're artisan cheeses.
we work so hard. Mother lost her feet for these cheeses.
Praise cheeses.
And then there's just a giant Jesus made
You know that was a suggestion in the news, letterbox.
Absolutely.
Somewhere along the line.
of Jesus.
Can you make a big Gouda Christ?
You know what? I think I can. If I leave now, I can
Good
make
Christ,
it.
the Midwest metal band.
Gouda Christ.
You must seek Gouda. You must seek Jesus. Wow. Okay. So
I mean, there's a variety of things at this, though. You didn't mention they had cheese as well.
yeah, they got cheese. That's the
It
thing.
sounds like a very tiny version of Wisconsin Dells or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like any good tourist trap, it's multifaceted.
Yeah.
And they have a dead horse the kids can sit on.
Whoa.
It's great.
Has it been embalmed, I hope?
I don't know. It might just be a plastic horse
Are we
covered
talking
in fur,
like plastic stuffed horse or like skeletal angel of death horse?
like Skeletor's horse.
Yeah.
No, it's just a regular old plastic horse covered in what may be real horse
That's
hide.
less exciting than what I was envisioning.
Yeah, but it's real still,
They
so it's easy to get
Trigger
on.
from the Roy Rogers Museum.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, exactly. It's just sitting out there. You can just climb on a dead horse, You can put your kids on the dead horse.
Can you beat the dead
beat
horse?
it. Yeah.
Ah,
dead
it was
horse.
a race to get that out.
I was like,
dead
somebody
horse
else will
race.
get it.
You can beat. I'll wait for the next bus.
I'm tired.
There'll be another long shortly.
This actually kind of reminds me of one of my favorite segments of Cops that I've ever seen. You've probably seen it if you're a fan of Cops. I watch it because I get homesick, and it's just...
It's right there.
and
home.
it's just... Because Southern white trash is a unique thing. Well, what happened was these two cops got called to a domestic violence dispute, and they show up, and they go up to the wife, and they go, ma'am, has he been hitting you? And she goes, yeah. And he goes, why has he been hitting you? And I swear to God, she goes, because I'm eating all the cheese all the time.
The teeth fell out the window and shit?
I think so.
Yeah.
And
She hit his teeth out the window because she was eating the cheese. Somebody's teeth and the cheese were both out the window.
You could see in her face that she knew she had fucked up. like you could tell that they had the cheese talk before, and so they talked to the husband. They're like, "Sir, what the hell are you doing? What's going on here?" And he's echoing everything she says.
Yeah.
Before he checks out.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't work 60-plus hours a week to bring home giant wheels of cheese just to come home to a fucking wedge.
That's like a metaphor.
Yeah.
Almost.
Absolutely. But anyway, sorry, I interrupted you.
No,
That's a lot of fucking cheese to be eaten.
Yeah. That's a
She
shit.
must
I
have
mean,
been pretty
Both
backed
of
up.
them are blind, too. That's the part of the story that I'm talking about.
no, if I remember, somebody's teeth got knocked out the window
That
in that
sounds right.
episode. Yeah, because they were sitting. It was a weird thing where it was like somebody like fucked up somehow. I mean, somebody fucked up like 40 years earlier than this.
Oh, sure.
Just entering in this relationship, but the man is like sitting by the window. Or maybe the woman, somebody lost their damn teeth out the window in that episode. Because I remember the argument of the cheese and the teeth being
I have
out the
to
window.
point something out with that part, though, that I feel like right here we have the opportunity to see the genesis of a Southern creepy staple. Of clearly those teeth were knocked out of a window, and then somebody in the family picked them up, and without having a bag, used a bandana as the container to put said broken, dirty teeth in, which was then tied into a bindle-style pouch and put somewhere for safekeeping. Now, 10 years go by, and some teens come into that house and find that full of teeth, and there's no explanation besides, I'm terrified. And those people are not there to defend themselves and say, that was just cleanup and we didn't have bags.
And that's how the Blair Witch Project
Exactly.
got started.
Like the House of Thousand Corpses doesn't happen in a day.
No.
It's a gradual process.
One tooth at a time, boys. One tooth at a time. Yeah, my favorite episode of Cops, of course, is where the police officer says to the woman, "Did you sell him crack?" And she goes, "Oh, no, I'm not a drug dealer. I'm a prostitute." It's the greatest line in television history. Number one is probably one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Number two, I'm not a drug dealer. I'm a prostitute. Number three, I'm not a crook.
Number four, did I do that? So what are your guys' go-to like tourist trap places?
I went to one before I came out here in Elberton, Georgia. A couple hours, I guess, outside of Atlanta.
Thought it was pronounced Hotlanta.
Hotlanta.
For
Yeah.
I
fuck's sake.
told Rivers I found one of my first comedy notebooks from like 5-6 years ago, and one of the pages, one of the notes is just use the term Hotlanta. I have no context for what it was, but
We got to take you to Underground Atlanta and get you a T-shirt.
I'd love it. I'm down for both.
somewhere in Gail Langley's photo archives in the house that I grew up in is a photo of me wearing a shirt that says
I love
Hotlanta. That I got at Underground Atlanta
I'm
when I was
dying
6.
to go back to Georgia.
Fuck. Hotlanda's cooking on Fantasia. That's what Michael P.S. Hayes used to say.
Bad Street, USA.
Yeah, Bad Street. Yeah, further down the block you get, the badder it got.
And I live at the end of the street, Daddy.
Yeah, Hotlanda's hot town, Rivers. I mean, shit,
I
you
love
proved
Atlanta.
it on your own body. and all that.
Oh, the shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, what? I have eaten a lot there.
The scars and things like that. No, it's a swinging tie, and it's hot, so it's
Yeah,
accurate.
Mary Max Tea Room and Eats is mostly
Oh,
responsible
yeah.
for the way I look.
I love Mary Max.
It's the best. Have you had the lady? Okay, well,
Many times.
I want to come back to the. We have to come back to the Georgia Guidestones, but there's a lady named the Ambassador who walks around Mary Max Tea Room in Atlanta and just scratches your back and hits on you. It's
Sure.
Is
so
that
great.
The strip club full of the old ladies?
No, that's the Claremont
No,
Lounge.
that's
The
something
Claremont
else.
Lounge is not a place. I don't think they serve food, but if they do, no.
But what they used to have is homemade popcorn in a vending machine.
Yeah,
That was a real thing. Now, the last time I went, which was just a couple months ago, it had been removed. I imagine it was some sort of
health violation.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's the kind of
This
thing
is a
I'd
strip
walk
club.
past once, walk past twice, then the third time walk away and then turn back and all right, you've won my money.
yeah.
The Claremont Lounge advertises itself as the oldest strip club in Atlanta, and they mean that in that they've been there the longest, and that all the strippers in there are like 60.
The original lineup.
Yeah, the original
But
lineup
is that the one
exactly.
with the popcorn. That's what I'm trying to clarify.
Yeah, there's,
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
popcorn in there too, apparently. And
Well, it was. Now
ooh.
you have to get, legit mainstream snacks.
Right. That's the Claremont Lounge. Mary Mac's Tea Room is like this. It's this. I don't know. I'd call it a medium to fancy place. It's where you go like after church on Sunday, that kind of place. And but also like there's pictures in there of like the Dalai Lama ate in there. Which
Uh-huh.
what
Went
the
there
fuck
after
did
church?
he eat? Everything in there's been stewed in pork for 45 hours. I don't know what a man of utter peace would eat in there because Dalai Lama can't. He's got to be a vegetarian, right?
I think, yeah.
Surely.
Except when he eats ribs.
Except
once a
when he
year.
fucking goes to Mary Mac's
once
Tea
a
Room.
year.
Give me the fucking country
Maybe
fried
just had a
steak.
sweet tea or
He is
something.
he is tying on that bib with the pig face on it.
That'd be amazing. I'd love to see him in a rib.
He's
he's
a
like
zany guy.
He's like a champion eater.
He's always pranking people. He's like the Johnny Knoxville of
He's,
Right.
He's ready for a toga party anywhere he goes.
Yeah, that's Mary Mac's Tea Room, and they have an old woman who walks around, and she's been there for ages. Will like rub your back and hit on you if you're a dude. It's so awesome. She's like, look at all these strong boys coming here to eat my restaurant. Like,
Hey,
just
babe.
hey, babe, how you been? And it's so fucking awesome.
all right.
It's the greatest thing in the whole world.
You get the stewed green.
You get that hoppin' john with the pot liquor. Mm-hmm. It's the best thing in the
joy
world.
that brings you.
It's so good. Makes me happy. Okay.
it's wonderful.
I'm sorry. Okay, so the
And they have a wonderful comedy scene in Atlanta, I should mention.
that's right. They do.
So, out in the middle of nowhere, Elberton, Georgia is supposed to be the granite capital of the world. That's what they claim. And so we go there, and they have a little granite museum, and which was wonderful. It was great. It was just my buddy. We got there early because we were anticipating huge lines, and so we actually did get like if it opened at 2, we were there at like 1 or something, and so we go and we're like, hey, we went to the building next door because the Granite Museum was locked up, and we're like, hey, we'd like to go check out the museum, and the guy goes, it ain't 2 yet. And I was like, I mean,
He is not risen yet.
we'll pay. I mean, we're paying customer. I mean, no, and he was like, yeah, all right. So he was like, I'll be there in about 10 minutes. And so we smoked a few cigarettes. Eventually,
Strap on all my guns.
yeah. Hold on.
I just envision him then for that next 10 minutes not moving at all.
Just going. So
Yes, he puts one leg over the bed on the floor, and then at like 9 minutes
As a
and 30
horrific-
seconds goes, whoa!
I envision he is in a chair in front of the place, and the second that the shade is no longer viable, that's when he gets up to work.
sun's hitting. So we walk over there and we see him, and I think he didn't really think we wanted to see the museum
Yeah.
because he seemed very skeptical. Because we were like, we want to see the museum, and he was kind of like, All right.
No one's ever asked for this.
Building's been here 20 years and nobody. But so anyway, and it's a great thing. Right before you walk through the doors of the Granite Museum are these giant barrels that are filled with hunks of granite.
Okay.
And it's souvenir granite. And like one side of it is highly polished, and the other side
granite.
is that's taken granite. And well, actually, I sent one to my girlfriend that said, "I'll never take you for granite." But
Well done, sir. Well done.
and I apologize. But my friend accidentally dropped his in a stone gravel parking lot.
What a cruel irony.
Probably also mostly granite.
And he picked one up, and I'm like, no, that's commoner granite. You want your fancy granite. But anyway, so we go in.
You may not take lot granite.
It's either taking granite or paying granite. No parking granite.
What are you doing? That's the wrong granite. But
The best Kids in a Hall sketch ever.
So we go in. We're like, hey, okay, so what do we do? Just wander around? And the guy goes, I'll go get you the videotape. And he wheels out the
media cart?
high school media
cart.
cart
Yeah.
with the TV and the VCR, and we watch a riveting documentary.
I'm imagining a voiceover just going, granite to marble, feel the metamorphosis.
No.
No?
So
Can I throw a theory out?
Sure,
Was it some poor quality lo-fi 70s synthesizer music playing lightly underneath a deep-voiced man talking?
yeah, he was like, you may have noticed while driving around Elberton, Georgia, all of the granite statues. That kind of thing. Yep. Oh, totally.
Yep.
All that was missing was the
Yeah,
For where you-
it's
but-
old PBS noises.
Yeah.
Like there's one synthesizer that PBS owned that they would just give music to for every documentary.
They just put in
shot between 1970 and
Oh, sure.
1995.
It just, They just
They
put
probably
in
had some sort of weird
an algorithm
contract,
and it just shoots out a
It
noise.
just drops tapes.
So what was in there?
Oh, okay. We go in and they had just various interesting interesting things to do around Elberton, Georgia, and one of them there was a little pamphlet for this thing called the Georgia Guidestones, which are
The place where the Georgia satellites launch from.
that's very true. And
That's not actually part of the Granite Museum.
no, you have to drive a little ways out.
It's a subsidiary.
Right, a division of Granite Call.
Well, no, but it seems like,
But
it seems
we
like
own the town.
The Granite Museum isn't even the main feature at the Granite Museum.
that's true. Yeah, not even. Yeah, no, that's accurate.
Because when you said Granite Museum, I was just picturing shelves of granite.
Well, there's a lot of that as well.
That's why the guy
I mean,
didn't want to
there's-
open the museum. He's just like, just wait till I get my 20 years in and I get moved to the Guidestone.
Well, this guy said one of my favorite things I've ever heard ever across the board. Here, the Georgia Guidestones are these weird Stonehenge-like structures
And
out
they have
in the middle of
same,
nowhere.
They have the same message displayed in all the
there's,
languages of the earth,
like
right?
Arabic and Chinese, and it's all this kind of semi-apocalyptic.
What's the message?
So, it actually translates directly into "Hang in there, kiddo." But the
Pictures of different cats.
yeah, it's a bunch of cats. It's a bunch of friendly cats. One of them's rolling over. Look. So it gets into how many people should be on the planet, stuff like that.
Denver airport shit.
And
Yeah, it is
right.
some Denver airport shit, for sure.
And so, what the interesting part about it is that a group of people who were who commissioned this, it was all anonymously done. It cost a fortune.
Yeah.
And nobody ever took credit for it. The guy who got the contract to make these things passed away without ever revealing who these people were. So it's an interesting thing. And so I go up to the guy at the Granite Museum, and I go, hey, what can you tell me about these Georgia Guidestones? And I swear to God, I'm not embellishing. He just goes, oh, it's this thing lends itself to mystery and intrigue. He was legitimately annoyed by mystery and intrigue. Oh, it just lends itself to mystery and like, I don't have time for this shit. You stupid dummy.
Well, when you live the granite lifestyle, I mean, you used to think straightforward, solid, a strong foundation like that. You don't want the uncertainties of intrigue and mystery and shit. Granite is all about what we know.
You've got things to do, no time for this crap.
That's right.
I love a town that is tired of people coming and investigating their amazing and wondrous things.
I've never
It's
been...
just some clandestine group's marketplace on the planet for nefarious purposes.
It's just some secret society where there's massive bloodlettings.
But he probably gets pissed because they got all this wonderful granite in there, and people come, they look at this thing, how do we get to this thing? And look, I've got granite here. And y'all gotta go all the way out to the Georgia Guidestones. There's the mystery.
I've got the guide.
You're gonna look at those Guidestones and their mysterious decapitated cattle instead of buying a new counter for your kitchen.
Granite is a stone of history. Granite has run the world.
So the Guidestones are written in English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, Chinese, and Russian. And these
that is listed in order of non-survivors.
There's another part to them where it's like Babylonian.
There won't be any left after the Guidestones.
You figure one Romance language would cover a good amount of the world.
But
not even Belgium survives.
It says maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Number 2, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity.
So there's fucking stones that give out sex advice?
Mm-hmm. 3, unite humanity with a living new language. 4, rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. 5, protect people and nation with fair laws and just courts. Number 6, let all nations rule internally resolved in external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials.
Are we noticing that even River sounds bored reading this?
Well, it lends itself to mystery and intrigue.
There's something about this mystery and intrigue that makes people also...
I'm tired of reading all these damn rules. They just lead themselves to mystery and
I just want to see this guy with we found a glowing orb in a field and he's like, oh, shut up. I'm sick of hearing about it. You know?
Number 9,
I'm sick of living in an interesting town. You know, the next town over, they had a beauty contest.
Number 9, prize truth, beauty, and love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Number 10, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature.
And cancer.
Leave room for nature. It's written twice. Number 11, smoke weed every day.
Why not?
Just kidding.
All right, do y'all remember Teddy Ruxpin?
Yes, of course.
Do you remember that, like the miniseries where they went and they found these crystals? These magic crystals, and all the crystals had little messages on them and shit. I'm teaching them about like.
I didn't know there was a show. I thought it was just a bear.
Well, it was a lot like this fucking thing with these rocks, all these mystical messages on them.
Yeah, written in a bunch of languages.
Sometimes a toy maker at the end of his rope goes to Georgia.
Goes
and takes
to Georgia,
acid.
smokes weed every day.
Land.
Smokes weed every fucking day.
But yeah, and then in 2008 they were vandalized apparently, and people sprayed shit about the New World Order because they think the New World Order made the stones.
There's a lot of conspiracy behind these fucking rocks.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, they're in the middle of nowhere.
I mean, they lend themselves to mystery and intrigue. God damn it!
I don't think I blame that granite guy because these are some hippie fucking rocks, man.
Yeah, I just imagine that guy just. I imagine you go to his house and his favorite color is beige, and it's just.
I also imagine his daughter can levitate. They have a pet,
and
dragon.
it annoys him.
Yeah, and all of this bothers him.
The Lord gave you 2 legs.
Sick of whimsy.
Sick of whimsy.
His wife's riding around on a fucking broom.
Yeah, this is like Bewitched 40 years later.
Oh, God.
Rivers looks a little like Dr. Bombay if you really think about it.
I could go with that.
Is that from
Bewitched?
Yeah, you're right.
Remember the Welsh guy
Yeah,
that
yeah,
just
yeah.
pop in now sometimes?
Yeah,
Played by Ron Jeremy in the porn parody.
Was he?
I believe so.
No shit.
Yeah.
I can see that.
You know he's a narcoleptic?
I can believe that.
Ron Jeremy or the guy from Bewitched, Dr. Bombay?
Ron Jeremy.
I mean, that's why he's got to be on the bottom now.
I feel like You have sleep apnea too. I feel like that's probably a thing. I just feel like we should go through and list things that might be wrong.
With Ron Jeremy.
Also, he looks like that.
He does have a master's in special
him.
education, though.
I've seen him at the Rainbow, and I've seen him at that deli beside the Laugh Factory.
If you ever want to go and feel like a real asshole, just go in and ignore whoever's inside. My friends and I were eating there once after some show, and Perry Farrell was there and knew that we recognized him and made
like
that
he-
face like, oh, I hope they don't come over and say anything. And then we didn't because we don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And then he kept sitting closer and closer to us and like trying to like lock eyes. And at one point he just raised his eyebrows
that's
at us.
so
And I was like,
sad.
no, this is not happening. I'm
That's
not
the
talking
saddest
to you.
little thing I've ever
Nice
heard.
try, Perry Farrell.
I mean, I've never been in
I'm
the
more
Rainbow
apt
Room.
to go talk to members of Disturbed who also ordered cheese squares.
Bobcat Goldthwait told me a great story about celebrity sightings.
Yeah.
He was in a Starbucks, and then everyone in the Starbucks starts going nuts. And it was one of the dumb twats from Jersey Shore, and everyone's going crazy. And he's like, ah, God. And then he turns around, and he and Gary Oldman make eye contact, and both of them just kind of go, what are you going to do?
Here's what I'll say. All right, so I like Gary Oldman a lot as an actor. I think he was great as Commissioner Gordon. But here's the tell for British actors, if they're doing an American accent, is when they yell, because that's when it falls apart. And Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon does a great job throughout, except when he's yelling, and then he goes, "They knew we were coming! The drugs were there!"
That is true.
really
I am going to throw out a counter argument, though,
What's
that if
that?
you give an English person a Southern accent, it's flawless. Because him is as Zurg in
Okay.
Fifth Element.
Okay, yeah.
That
was
accent
pretty
is
great.
flawless.
Although Albert Finney in Big Fish sounds very, very gay.
Everything about that movie is very, very gay.
Oh, effeminate Southern voice is the greatest voice
Oh, that's the greatest
ever.
voice of all time.
Yeah.
Do you know Joe Raines?
I was going to say, yeah.
I will force Joe Raines to just have a conversation with me in his effeminate Southern voice because it fills me with joy.
These motherfuckers.
These motherfuckers.
These
Crazy
motherfuckers.
as shit, y'all.
My favorite word to say is pretzels in that voice. I was on a shitty horror movie set, and I didn't know anybody, and so I figured I could do this. I was over at the craft services table, and some other dude was there, and I go, "Hey, have y'all seen any pretzels? I love pretzels. I see Doritos and I see Fritos, but I don't see any pretzels. I work hard and I play hard, you know? I just want some pretzels.
Give me my Rhodes Gold.
Give me my Rhodes Gold's pretzels." And
You know what I like is the pretzels called the super pretzels. You get the grocery store in the frozen section. You heat them up.
some of them have too much salt, though. But
They got that good salt though.
the big old crystals of it. Oh my god! So then like a few hours go by, and the crew gets cut to go get lunch, and everyone goes to craft services. And I see the guy, and now he has like 4 or 5 friends, and he kind of goes, "Hey, did you ever find that snack you were looking for?" And I go, "To what are you referring?" And he was like, the pretzels? And I go, "I'm sorry." And he goes, "You don't talk like that, do you?" And I was like, "No."
I just want a series of all of William Faulkner's books read as audiobooks in that voice.
Oh, there's nothing you can't read in that voice. That would be.
It was the
Just
best
like-
of times.
Oh, it was the worst of times. 407 years ago, our forefathers brought forth on this continent a new nation.
Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day.
Welcome to the winter of our discontent.
Made glorious summer by this son of York.
Alas, poor York, I knew him well, Horatio.
He's a man of infinite jest.
Good night. What's your ideal tourist trap? Favorite
I'm
one?
with a lot of women that are willing to fuck me.
Yeah, I heard that, motherfucker.
Those are just.
That's my ideal one.
Those are
What's
just
that?
tourist traps.
What's my actual favorite one? Well, shit, does Fun Spot count?
That's in
I'd
New
say
Hampshire,
so.
right?
I'd
Yeah.
say so.
Fun Spot is this. It's up in this little area in New Hampshire called the Lakes region, and it's a long-time tourist trap. And it used to be like an Indian village and mini golf and shit like
Okay.
that.
Featured in King of Kong, right?
Yeah, well, see, in the 80s, it became an arcade. And basically what happened was they never threw away all the old games. And as the years went on, it's like, you remember you said that other place was a time capsule.
Yeah.
As the years went on, they had so many old games that they started actually buying old games from collectors and trying to make it into like a game museum. So nowadays, because all the other arcades are shut, it's by far it's the largest video arcade, I believe, in the world, or at least the largest retro arcade.
Man.
So that's where they have all those tournaments, like if you see that movie King of Kong about like the Donkey Kong championships and shit like that. And it's real pretty around that area too. And I mean, they got a bar in there, and they got shitty pizza. And a bingo hall across the street.
That's the worst name for a restaurant I've ever heard in my life.
What, the Bragg and Dragon?
No, shitty pizza.
No, it's actually called the Bragg and Dragon. I call it shitty pizza.
I like how many places I realize I think sound exciting that are just descriptions of a mall in 1985. Like, bad pizza and a big arcade.
No, but this is better than all that. Because
if they've got a Benetton, I'm there.
But this is in the heart of New Hampshire's Lake region. And it's got a lot of old video games. You can't beat the fucking thing. They have indoor mini golf, which I never cared for. But
it's a weird version of mini golf.
Yeah, it is. But you
limited
can't.
for
But I'll
some
tell you
reason.
though, man, you can't beat the video game. So that's probably my favorite tourist trap.
What was the one you were telling me where there's a train and a guy yells at you?
Oh, that's Clark's Trading Post.
Yeah, is that also in New Hampshire?
Yeah, that is. That's up near where the aliens were.
I mean, that's part of it. Like you show up.
No,
and
that's
some
totally
guy just
different
yells at you.
No, that's in shit. Where the hell is that? It's near where that Betty and Barney Hill UFO outer space kidnapping happened.
Yeah.
But it's called Clark's Trading Post, and it's a crazy little tourist trap place. One of those places almost like part museum with old fire trucks from like 1910 and shit like that. But they have a little train ride, and there's this man called the Wolf Man, who's this fellow with a long beard. He looks like Bruiser Brody, the wrestler, and like a wolf skin, and he rides in a little roadster that looks like the Monopoly piece, and he rides alongside the train with like an old shotgun that he fires off into the air. What? It's like an old,
There's
old
YouTube
barrel,
of this.
like black powder. Yeah, and that's
You can
the
find
thing.
this on YouTube. It's amazing.
And they tell you, they tell all the kids like, the Wolf Man. When you see the Wolf Man come, and you squint your eye and say, "Scram, you old goat." So when he does that, you drive by the train.
I'm moving there.
Yeah, well, no, it's a good place.
I will
actually
be that Wolf
talked-
Man.
I actually talked with one of the Wolfmen when I was there
So this
last
is a
time.
franchise position.
Yeah,
Not like a
because
Ronald
I've
McDonald.
thought about that. Because people said, because they thought, oh, you should be a Wolfman. But as soon as I heard how much work it was, no thanks. I'll let somebody else be the Wolfman. But
You gotta work your way up to Wolfman.
Well, no, they expect you. It's New Hampshire, so those are cheap motherfuckers. So they expect you to actually do work around the park. Oh, they also have trained bears at this place. I forgot to tell you that. With the same guy telling the same jokes year after year, which are all these like jokes that are only funny if you're from New Hampshire about like people from Boston not knowing how to drive and shit like that. So they have trained bears at this place too. But the highlight is the Wolfman who attacks the train, and the kids say, "Scram, you old goat," and that pisses the Wolfman off, and he drives away and all that shit. But I mean, hell, that's a hell of a good tourist.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. You should go to YouTube.
Clark's Trading Post.
Clark's Trading Post.
What's weird with that to
Wolfman.
me is I feel
Really
like had
obscure.
Disneyland not come in, that's all Knott's Berry Farm would be.
Yeah, probably so.
But by proxy, it's become legitimized just because their cool neighbor is that successful.
well, they had to step their game up.
Yeah.
Well, they have the Not Scary Farm too.
Have you ever been to that though?
Yeah, I was high as shit.
Remarkably homemade feeling. It's very
It
interesting.
feels
about
like you're in a '90s music
because
video.
like I went to college down there, and any
There's a
goth
B-girl
kid
running
I
around?
knew worked at that place for that month. That was just every goth kid in Long Beach and Orange counties. Just perfect month.
Well, see, you have like all these goth people jumping out at you and shit like that. And when you're high too, and everything's blurry, and they have smoke, it can feel like
It's like a Soul Asylum video.
Yeah, or like a Tool video.
Yeah.
Or something
Oh, okay.
like that.
I feel like mine is split between two because I found one while at the other one.
Okay.
I was in Iowa. We went out there for a family reunion. I keep seeing this sign that says 5 miles to the Spirit Lake Massacre House. Then 3 miles, then 2 miles. Then I kicked the back of my dad's seat and said, "Turn, we're going to the Massacre House." Now, it easily could have been a situation where we walk out and a man with overalls puts a hatchet in my dad's face and goes, "What'd you think was going to be here?" Like
That'd be great
he's
that
the
the killer put
laziest
up
serial
signs.
killer. But instead, it was a homespun historical society that has sprung up that is all about this series of like skirmishes that the whites and the Indians in this area had during this time period, where this sort of just walks you through each side. It's like a bad neighbors story because neither side is right. Both are being assholes, and it just keeps escalating where they're like, they show up and like fuck up all of like the livestock for the Indians. So the Indians fuck up all their livestock. So then the settlers shoot a couple of Indians. So then the Indians come back and steal some women folk, and then the natives murder a bunch of the Indians, and then and it's only famous because I've done way too much research on this thing at this point. There was a famous book about the woman who survived, because there was this whole subgenre called captivity narratives in like the 1800s that were their like trashy books, and it's all about white women living with Indians and the horrors that happen when they see them as people.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we go through this thing, and we're looking at all this stuff, and they're like, here's a club that clubbed an Indian to death. And, like, here's an arrow that murdered a white person. And then the only guy there in this un-air-conditioned building says, as we're about halfway through looking through this one-room display, he just goes, let me know when you want to see the tape. and we let him know, and he wheels out. Actually, he had a little screening room
brings out
that
some
was
duct
an
tape.
old 70s. You know, this is how trusting I am. That happened 3 years ago, and that's the first time that's occurred to me. I could get murdered at any moment. But and what was great was he had to stand next to the VCR in front of the old CTC TV and manually work the tracking, because there's clearly only one copy of this cassette tape.
Oh, wow.
And the guy in the video, the historian from Iowa, legitimately says the word murder. He doesn't say skirmish. He doesn't say anything. He's like, yeah, they straight murdered them. And then there's no gift shop. They don't even sell the book that they spend the whole museum talking about. And I said to the guy that it was a mistake to not sell a shirt that says, I survived the Spirit Lake Massacre House. And he got squinty-eyed for a minute and said, that is a good idea. Like, no one had brought that up to him until that point.
Back then, now they have them.
And so it was the best part of Iowa, though, is the Iowa Rock and Roll Museum.
Yeah.
Which is just
empty.
No,
Some dude's record
so
collection.
Full. It's so full. It's like, and what's weird is it's full of just enough stuff that if you're at all music nerd inclined, every 5 feet there's something just dumb enough to suck you in.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of old vintage amps, and like every 5 feet there's an old electric organ from some question.
What makes Iowa rock and roll any different from anywhere else's?
The fact that the Iowa Rock and Roll Museum has put out 5 compilation CDs of old 60s garage rock bands.
So
from
is
the
it
era.
just from Iowa?
Yeah, all Iowa garage rock bands. It's the weirdest,
imagine
most
you walk in-
specific museum. I bought a couple of the compilations. It's just like with any garage rock compilation. Like you find about 3 good songs for every 10 songs you listen to.
It seems like between that and that little massacre house and shit, they're really specific about their local history.
Yeah. Well, and they had a vintage boat museum around there too. And that was interesting. That was great because they had they'd clearly gone when some place had gone out of business and just bought a ton of mannequins, because every vintage boat has a mannequin family in it.
Are
and there
they all
mannequins-
saluting?
Yes, and there are mannequins skiing behind the vintage boats.
They're like motorboats and shit
Yeah,
like that.
old
Chris-Craft and
yeah,
shit.
but then all like flat bottom like wood boats from like the 40s and 50s.
Oh shit!
and
I mean,
stuff.
those are very handsome and all that.
Yeah.
The mahogany
especially covered in mannequins.
And if I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. And we could all together go out on the ocean, setting me up on my pony, on my boat.
I'm surprised nobody's brought up south of the border yet.
Yeah,
I was going to say,
yeah,
to
we
me-
can talk about south of the border because we referenced it in an earlier episode, but that was episode 3. We're at
Oh, that place you always tell me about.
yeah, south of the border.
Oh my god!
I have to say, when I saw Wall Drug, I consider it like a disappointing Western south of the border.
I feel like if I'd seen south of the border first, I would probably have been underestimated. But I also had such low expectations
it's
going
like
to Wall
if you,
Drug.
If you took away like fireworks, that's kind of what you would have with Wall Drug, and,
Yeah.
and a bit of a Western motif.
Have you ever been in the winter?
Yeah.
Because that's when it's terrifying.
Are we in Stephen King country? At
yeah,
that point?
that's when it becomes Westworld. Is in the winter because there's no one there.
Chased by a floating sombrero made of steel.
You just get chased by something racist.
Get chased by Yul Brynner.
Yeah, and in the summer, I've never been in the summer. I only stopped the once, and it was in the winter, and no one was there.
Yeah.
It was real creepy. I imagine the summer it's a little more lively.
You know they have an Asian spa whorehouse there. Yeah, it said something like Asian spa, like ornamental, when they meant like ornamental or
that's
something like
beautiful.
that.
Oh, they said
I love
ornamental
that.
instead of
Something like
Now,
that.
are there like rides and stuff at south of the border?
Yeah, there's a
Because I
bungee-
do
there's
enjoy
a-
a dangerous carnival ride.
Oh, well, there's a bungee jumping tower.
Okay.
That's about as dangerous as it gets, right?
I actually would argue it depends on the tower because I feel like a lot of times those things were built in the 90s when safety was like I'm looking for something
Yeah.
pre
No,
1990.
This place is pretty much, if you woke up there and someone told you it was 1991, you'd believe them.
Okay.
Like, it's about that.
Like Venice Beach.
Like
Yeah.
Venice Beach, exactly.
Oh, very much so.
But-
when Venice Beach finds out that Tupac is dead, they are going to be bummed. So bummed.
The real thing about south of the border and the reason it's such a great tourist trap is that all along the interstate for 200 miles on either side of it, there are signs that are all so weird that you're like, what? Of course I'm stopping. What? Like, you
That's
stop
the best part.
because you'll pass by a sign that just says Shalom in huge letters, and then it just says south of the border 90 miles.
Well, I mean, they have the cryptic advertising too. You
Yeah.
see the bumper stickers all up and down the East Coast.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Well,
is
and
that
then
thing?
of course my favorite sign just says "You never sausage a place." And it has
my
a giant
God.
sausage.
Oh, right.
That's an
Yeah.
old one.
Yeah,
Have you guys heard of a place called Goats on the Roof?
I've heard of it.
I've heard of it. What is it?
It's exactly that.
It's just goats on a roof of a house.
But
where is
then
that?
there's T-shirts.
Where is that? I swear,
I'm in.
I feel like I've passed by there or
They-
something.
they've
I think
won
there's
my
a
money.
couple of them.
Oh,
It's a franchise.
it's a franchise.
I love
Which
this.
one do you
What a
mean,
country.
Rivers?
Yeah. Well, there's 3 of us, and we got
I feel
3
like
goats.
there were 4 and 1 in Fresno closed.
we were coming back from a horrible gig in Tennessee, and my buddy goes, "Goats on the roof," and I had no idea what he was doing. I was like, "Wah!" And
because you were driving, and it scared the shit out of you.
and so then I saw the sign. We pulled in, and it was cute. There's a bunch of little goats and T-shirts
Was
and
Tennessee,
funny goat
were,
hats.
Were they at least the fainting goats, where you could like come at them and they would fall over?
No, these weren't no
Were
pussy
they on
goats.
the roof?
Yeah, they
guys-
were on the roof.
Do you guys know Santa's Village, the old place that used to be in San Bernardino in California? It was a
no, but
Santa.
I've seen places
There's
like
one
it.
of those. There's one of the. Remember, I mentioned like these places up in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
New Hampshire is like.
I've got to get to New Hampshire.
New Hampshire has tons of tourists.
That's
and
one of the
they
states
have
not
a-
on my list yet.
They have a Santa's Village there, which is like a year-round Christmas thing. I think
Yeah.
Mick Foley, the wrestler, I've heard he likes the place so much. He sometimes does like an Elvis and rents it overnight and goes
that's
to it
pretty
and shit
great.
like that.
Yeah.
They had in if you lived in Southern California, like you got the same Santa's Village commercial from about 1985 to about 1999.
Awesome.
And you just saw this kid eating the grossest looking gingerbread man cookie that was like a foot long and just looked like it was made of a dark mahogany wood. and they cut away before she breaks her jaw trying to bite into it. And then at some point they added an expansion to Santa's Village, and you could notice when they intercut the updated content into the commercial because they did not shoot a new commercial. They just added new footage that looked nicer over the old footage and old narration.
That's my. I love like we had commercials that were shot, a long time ago that still run.
I love them. Those are my favorite.
Okay, so the one we had where I'm from in Auburn it was for a place called Hills Jewelry that's not there anymore, but basically it was a place you'd go before there was like cashforgold.com. You would get, it was that you would something sad happened, you took them all your jewelry and they gave you money. And they ran this commercial that they filmed in about 1993, and it ran all the way up until they closed last year. And the commercial
I feel
was
like the industrial business for videos was booming in like
about-
the early 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Like
and it's this video of them. Well, there's actually 2 that they used to run. One is of them they chartered a small aircraft and filmed this in the back of the plane, and they didn't do. I guess that no one told them they could do ADR. So it's just them screaming in a real airplane. Why they didn't just film this on the ground is fucking beyond me. But they're in the back of an airplane just going, "Why would anyone want to jump out of a perfectly good airplane?" And then the other girl goes, "To get to Hills Jewelry." And then they cut to like a different new footage of 2 people parachuting and them pretending to land and walking into the place. So that was the one, but the other one
Maybe
that I
they
loved
figured they had
was
more
their motto,
verite
or
that
you
way.
could take a car.
yeah.
It's the store that cars can get to.
They never explained the airplane. But the other one was even better. It was these two girls are in this car, and they looked old already. But you see the car, and they just add sirens on the screen, and it goes woo, and then a woman just wearing a dark blouse, not a police outfit, just a dark blouse, walks up and she goes, "Did you girls know you were speeding?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're college students. How are we supposed to pay for this?" And she goes,
Oh, is this a porno that's about to
"Yeah, it really is." And then the woman looks in the window. She goes, "You girls can trade that scrap gold for cash at Hill's Jewelry?" And they're like, "No." They're like, "You can."
Can
Hill's
cars
Jewelry.
get there?
Yeah, can cars get there?
Oh, you have to take the plane.
But yeah, it's just a woman in a
Obsessed
dark.
with making commercials where you make that explicitly clear. It's, your car can drive here.
Ah,
We've even got a place where you can store it while you're inside the building.
What do you
before
call
also
that?
drive home. We call it a car pen.
So yeah, we're going to take a look into our local paper before we go. This is
Okay.
the Disgraceland Picayune. Just a couple stories here. Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Love it.
A 19-year-old is in the Tuscaloosa County Jail after asking a fictional stranger to shoot and kill her family. According
Is this like an improv class or something?
According to a court record filed Tuesday, a 19-year-old Marissa Williams had lived with her aunt in Foster's, Alabama since April 2014. Their relationship was strained by Williams' habits on social media. She allegedly would invite strangers she befriended on sites like Facebook over to her house. When her aunt asked Williams to stop inviting men she met online to her home and did not allow her to go to parties with strangers, the 19-year-old blocked her aunt on Facebook, prohibiting the woman from seeing what her niece was doing there. According to the deposition, Williams' aunt decided to create a Facebook profile for a fictional man that she named Trey Top Dog Ellis so that she could add Williams as a friend and chat with her. The woman hoped for a rare glimpse into her niece's online activity and for an opportunity to teach Williams about the danger of interacting with strangers online. The experiment soured quickly. According to court documents, Williams began unknowingly talking to her aunt, posing as Ellis in late May, and on the first day they interacted online, she gave the fictional boy her phone number and a home address and asked him to come over and get drunk with her. She then offered to have sex with him if he'd pay her $50 phone bill.
God.
Oh.
Days later, Williams allegedly told the man she knew as Ellis that her family made her angry and that she wanted to get out of Alabama. She then asked the man she'd never met to come kidnap her and take her away from her family. And according to the deposition, Williams told Trey to shoot and kill her aunt if she tried to stop him.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, so she got arrested. But
How old is this
She
girl?
knew it was them.
19. So so the aunt makes a Facebook profile to try to catch her doing something, and within a week, she was like, "Hey, can you kill my aunt?"
Maybe she knew it. She was just fucking with her.
That's amazing. Hamilton, Ohio. A Hamilton man with a long history of public indecency convictions was arrested again for simulating sex with a pool float.
Yeah.
Why would you
big
simulate
whales.
that? Just do it.
You put it in its blowhole.
Yeah.
Edwin Toberkta, 35, was arrested Wednesday morning after a witness observed him standing naked on Route 4 in Hamilton, simulating sex with a pink pool flotation device. According to a police report, the witness said he was in full view of nearby businesses and passing cars, which is funny in and of itself, but really the kicker here is that Toberkta was previously arrested in June of 2013 after he engaged in sex with a pool float outside of his house in front of several children. He pleaded guilty to that offense and was sentenced to 11 months in prison, but was released early. In August of 2011, he was arrested for a similar offense involved in having sex with a pink swimming pool float raft. In 2002, he was caught having sex with an inflatable pumpkin.
Can he just not afford a blow-up doll
I
or
don't
something?
know.
Also, pumpkins are cheap. Get a real pumpkin.
Yeah,
No, it's-
carve
yeah.
it up.
I want to know if that, in that
That's
case,
good.
those are the kind that have the air machine usually in them if they're in your front yard.
Yeah.
Like the deflate until you plug it in. Like he was really living on the wild side until he
Oh,
learned how
yeah.
to do it right.
Yeah. I just,
Are you
I mean,
familiar with the fuck you, the inflatable sheep that you can actually fuck? It's
called fuck you.
yeah,
That's all-
EWE. Yeah.
Big seller in Scotland, I would imagine.
That's fucking awesome.
There'll never be another you.
You're the only one for me.
I was really upset because I had seen that in a porn as a gag thing at some point, and then heard someone mention the product's name, and I was like, "Oh, that's what that thing was called."
What thing?
I wasn't there.
Just no.
That's where you got to really keep a poker face on, that you're not having a lot of things lock into place.
Yeah.
It's all in public places.
In
it seems
public,
like.
if you will.
That is a real specific
thing. Yeah, what let's
fuck a pool toy in front of people.
let's say this
You
man.
would think they just know and accept it by now. He's just the local guy
He's
that
just the
fucks
he's the fun noodle.
Well, there's
Yeah.
The fun noodle fucker.
Well, there's the masturbating guy on the Chattahoochee River in Georgia. And, weekend rafters will, go to shooting the hooch.
Yeah,
as they
shooting the
say.
hooch.
And there's little, cliff areas. And you're going down, and then you'll look up, and there's just some dude just whacking it.
Is that guy in the Alan Jackson video?
Wait,
Probably. Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee. But the
next
gets
line of
hotter
the
than a
song,
hoochie
where it
coochie.
gets hotter than a hoochie coochie, which
That
is
song
that
is
made it on the
so
radio.
fucking good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the guy who takes a stand and says
That's
that
fine.
video's amazing. Alan Jackson is an amazing single ski water skier in it. With a hat still on.
with the fucking hat on. Yeah, exactly.
Such a good video, such a good song.
And I understand, on a weekend when you have your kids or something with you, I get that. But
On a Tuesday morning, let the man be.
yeah, just let him do his thing. And
Isn't
the
that
thing
where-
is,
that where
nobody
he lives. Is that outside his house or something?
They suspect he lives somewhere close. I don't
Legend says.
Well, I was reading the Guidestones.
Well, way down yonder on the Chattahoochee, never knew how much that muddy water meant to me. But I learned how to swim and I learned who I was. A lot about living and a little about love.
Kyle
I'm at Kyle Clark is Rad.
at Kyle Clark is rad. Matt Pharr, where can people get hold of you on Twitter?
At Matt Pharr Comic.
Alrighty, and has anybody got
That's
shows? Anything coming up?
This Friday, June 20th at Nerd Melt. We're doing a show called Camp Nerd Melt. It's a summer camp themed sketch show. It's also free with free beer and s'mores. So if you don't come, you're a real asshole.
Yeah.
And I also have a podcast that should be coming out starting in mid-July called This Is Rad. We're not sure what it means it's coming out.
I love that
through.
movie.
We actually have an episode that we're working on putting together where the band Rad are going to watch the movie Rad with us, and then we're going to talk about it.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
I can't wait to
It's
see
gonna be
that.
rad.
It's gonna be rad. Matt, you got shows? Anything else coming up?
Next month, 13th, Tex. That's TAIX.
The French Toast Show.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
it's,
France Toast.
Zach Sherwin still run that?
Jim Haggerty.
Yeah.
Jim Haggerty, yeah.
Jim Haggerty, Zach Sherwin, great show.
Yep,
Right there in
good folks.
in the heart of Silver Lake. Or was it Echo Park?
Yeah.
Either way.
One of those.
Same.
Well, yeah. Thank you for joining us. This is the Pine Hill Haints, and we'll see you next time.
Whisper in the dark. She's from the other side, howling in the night, down from the mountainside. Let me tell you about the girl from North Alabama, up there in old Lauderdale. Oh, I looked out my window, there you were. Cheeks so white as tombstone slate, eyes as black as death's cape band, feet floating off of the air, and fingers beckon me to come down there where you were. Whisper in the dark. She's from the other side, howling in the night, down from the mountainside. Let me tell you about the girl from North Alabama. Oh, the old Nat chair was long and looked out the window. There you were. Cheeks were white as tombstone slate, eyes as black as death's cape, feet floating off of the air, fingers beckon me to come down there where you were. Whisper in the dark. She's from the other side. Oh, stay down there, just get away from me. Go on, move away from me.
The Goods from the Woods is mixed and edited by me, Rivers Langley, and distributed by Westcast Network.
Our theme song is composed by DJ Smiles. You can find him online at djsmiles.net.